Hello, fellow gardeners. Today, we embark on a journey. We're going to unlock the secrets of healthy, thriving gardens. And the best part, we'll do it on a budget. Get ready to turn kitchen scraps and garden waste into something amazing. This is the magic of DIY compost and fertilizers. This is a simple guide for everyone. Whether you're new to gardening or a seasoned pro, there's something here for you. We'll learn the basics of composting. We'll discover easy recipes for homemade fertilizers, and you'll be amazed at how simple it is to nourish your garden the natural way. Let's get started. Compost, it's the gardener's best friend. But what exactly is it? Compost is like magic. It's made from decomposed organic matter. Think kitchen scraps, leaves, and grass clippings. These materials break down over time. They transform into a rich, earthy substance, and this substance is pure gold for your garden. Why is compost so special? Let me count the ways. It improves your soil structure. It helps water drain better. And most importantly, it's packed with nutrients. These nutrients feed your plants and help them grow strong. Compost is also a fantastic way to reduce waste. Instead of throwing away kitchen scraps, you can give them a second life in your garden. Ready to start composting? It's easier than you think. Composting is a simple and rewarding way to recycle your kitchen and garden waste into nutrient-rich soil for your plants. Not only does it reduce the amount of waste you send to the landfill, but it also helps improve the health of your garden. First, you need a designated spot for your compost pile or bin. This can be in your backyard, garden, or even on a balcony if you live in an apartment. The key is to find a spot that is convenient for you to access and manage. A shady corner of your garden is perfect, and this helps to keep the compost from drying out too quickly and maintains a more consistent temperature. Now, let's talk ingredients. You need a mix of greens and browns. Greens are nitrogen-rich materials that help to heat up the compost pile and speed up the decomposition process. Greens include items like fruit and vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, and grass clippings. These materials are rich in nitrogen, which is essential for the microbial activity that breaks down the compost. Browns are carbon-rich materials like dry leaves, shredded paper, and cardboard. These materials provide the energy that microbes need to break down the organic matter. Think of it like a recipe. Just as you need the right balance of ingredients to bake a cake, you need the right balance of greens and browns to create healthy compost. You need the right balance of ingredients for the best results. Too much green material can make the compost pile too wet and smelly, while too much brown material can make it too dry and slow to decompose. A good rule of thumb is to use 3 parts brown materials for every 1 part green material. This ratio helps to maintain the right balance of carbon and nitrogen. Once you have your ingredients, layer them in your compost bin. Start with a layer of browns, then add a layer of greens. This layering helps to create pockets of air that are essential for the decomposition process. Start with a layer of browns, such as dry leaves or shredded paper. This base layer helps to absorb excess moisture and provide structure to the compost pile. Then add a layer of greens, like vegetable scraps or coffee grounds. Water each layer lightly to keep the compost moist but not soggy. Moisture is crucial for the microbes that break down the organic matter. Continue layering until your bin is full. As you add more material, the compost pile will start to heat up, which is a sign that the decomposition process is working. Now comes the fun part, turning the compost. Turning the compost helps to aerate the pile, which is essential for the microbes that break down the organic matter. Use a garden fork or shovel to mix the materials every week or 2. This helps to distribute moisture and air throughout the pile, which speeds up the decomposition process. This adds air to the pile, which helps the decomposition process. Over time, the materials will break down into dark, crumbly compost that you can use to enrich your garden soil. Section 4. Troubleshooting your compost. Common issues solved. Composting is usually a smooth process, but you might encounter a few bumps along the way. These issues can range from bad odors to slow decomposition and even unwanted pests. But don't worry, because most of these problems are easy to solve with a few simple adjustments. Don't worry, most problems are easy to solve. With a little bit of knowledge and some practical tips, you can keep your compost pile healthy and productive. If your compost pile smells bad, it's probably too wet or doesn't have enough brown materials. A foul odor is often a sign that the balance between green and brown materials is off. Add more dry leaves, shredded paper, or cardboard to absorb excess moisture and balance out the nitrogen. These brown materials help to aerate the pile and reduce the smell. Seeing flies or pests around your compost? This is a common issue, especially if you're composting food scraps. Make sure you're covering your food scraps properly with brown materials. This not only helps to deter pests, but also aids in the decomposition process. A closed compost bin can also help deter pests. By keeping the bin closed, you limit access to flies and other pests that might be attracted to the food scraps. Is your compost decomposing slowly? This can be frustrating, but it's usually a sign that the pile isn't getting enough air or moisture. It might not be getting enough air or moisture. Compost needs a good balance of both to break down efficiently. Turn the pile more frequently to add air. Aeration is crucial for the microorganisms that break down the organic matter. Water it lightly if it feels dry. The compost should be as moist as a wrung-out sponge. Too much water can drown the microorganisms, while too little can slow down their activity. Remember, composting is a natural process. It takes time for organic materials to break down into rich, dark compost. Be patient, and your compost will eventually turn into beautiful, rich soil amendment. This nutrient-rich compost can then be used to improve the health and the fertility of your garden soil, making your plants thrive. By troubleshooting these common issues, you can ensure that your composting efforts are successful. Happy composting! Section 5. Using your compost black gold for your garden. Congratulations! Your compost is ready to use when it looks like dark, crumbly soil and has an earthy aroma. This is the moment you've been waiting for. The transformation of kitchen scraps and garden waste into nutrient-rich compost. The process may have taken weeks or even months, but the end result is worth the wait. This dark, crumbly substance is often referred to as black gold because of its incredible benefits for your garden. This black gold is a treasure trove of nutrients for your garden. It contains essential elements like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which are vital for plant growth. Additionally, compost improves soil structure, enhances moisture retention, and promotes beneficial microbial activity. All these factors contribute to healthier, more productive plants. So, how do you use it? There are several ways to incorporate compost into your gardening routine. You can mix it into your garden beds before planting. This ensures that the nutrients are evenly distributed throughout the soil, providing a strong foundation for your plants. Simply spread a layer of compost over the soil and work it in with a garden fork or tiller. Spread a layer of compost around your plants as a top dressing. This method is particularly effective for established plants. The compost acts as a slow-release fertilizer, gradually providing nutrients as it breaks down. It also helps to suppress weeds and retain moisture in the soil, or use it to make compost tea, a nutrient-rich liquid fertilizer. Compost tea is made by steeping compost in water, allowing the beneficial microbes and nutrients to leach into the liquid. This tea can then be used to water your plants, giving them an immediate nutrient boost. Compost is particularly beneficial for vegetable gardens, flower beds, and new plantings. In vegetable gardens, compost helps to produce bountiful harvests by providing the necessary nutrients for fruit and vegetable development. In flower beds, it promotes vibrant blooms and healthy foliage. For new plantings, compost helps young plants establish strong root systems. It gives your plants a healthy boost and helps them thrive. By improving soil structure and fertility, compost creates an optimal growing environment. Plants are better able to absorb nutrients and water, leading to increased growth and resilience against pests and diseases. Remember, a little goes a long way. You don't need to use large quantities of compost to see significant benefits. In fact, using too much compost can lead to nutrient imbalances and other issues. Start with a thin layer of compost and observe how your plants respond. If they show signs of improvement, you can gradually add more. It's always better to start with less and add more as needed, rather than overloading your soil with compost from the beginning. You can always add more if needed. Regularly monitor your plants and soil and adjust your compost application accordingly. With the right amount of compost, your garden will flourish and you'll enjoy the rewards of your hard work.